Mr. Paterson, you've said before you'd like to see TikTok banned in Australia, like the American ban, yet your party seems perfectly happy to use the site to try and get elected. Is there a bit of a contradiction here?
That's not true, Andrew. I've never advocated for a ban on TikTok. In fact, what I've said is I'd like to see a safer version of TikTok available to Australians. And I think that we should examine very closely what the US Congress has done, which is to pass a bill overwhelmingly on a bipartisan basis, requiring the parent company of TikTok, ByteDance, to divest TikTok, to remove the link between the company and the Chinese Communist Party, because it can be used for foreign interference and it can be used for data harvesting. Now, the Supreme Court has upheld that law, and it's the Trump administration's task now to implement that law. And President Trump has said he's seeking a deal to make sure that TikTok can remain available in the United States, but in a safer way. And I think we need to closely coordinate with the Trump administration that same approach here in Australia, because what I don't want to see is a safer version of TikTok available to Americans, but a more dangerous version of TikTok available in Australia.
And just finally, with the election of Donald Trump, people are being quoted from what they said about Trump in the past. In 2011, you tweeted about an Australian trade analyst, quote, demolishing Donald Trump's economic lunacy. And in 2015, you tweeted what you said was a, quote, solid critique of Donald Trump's dangerous economic views. Given his threats on tariffs, do you still think Donald Trump has dangerous economic views?
Well, Andrew, those tweets were from 14 years ago when I was a university student and Donald Trump was a private citizen. He'd not even run for the Republican nomination, let alone been elected as president. And it stands in stark contrast to the much stronger language used by the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, our Home Affairs Minister, other senior ministers of the government, and our ambassador in Washington, D.C., who've engaged in personal abuse of President Trump during his time in office and after his time in office. I stand up, though, for Australia's national interest and Australia's trade policy, and we are an open trading nation, and it is in Australia's interest that the international trading system remain free and open, and that our domestic manufacturers and businesses and farmers have export opportunities all around the world. And it's critical in our engagement with the Trump administration and all other governments that we stand up for those interests. I hope the Albanese government is able to secure an exemption from any tariffs that the Trump administration proposes, as the Turnbull government was able to do, drawing on the very strong relationships we had in Washington, D.C. And this will be a key test of the Albanese government. Are they able to secure the same deal for Australia that the Turnbull government did?
James Paterson, out of time. Thanks so much for your time.